Hello investors and traders, today we'll speak about the US economy and outlook for the future years. I will use the data from Trading Economics, it's a nice place to find all the data, so let's check it, global macro parameters. And let's start with the business parameters. So firstly I would like to find out manufacturing PMI. So here we see that the final the last data is 46. So we have here a decreasement whole last 2 years. By the way, all the data that less than 50, it's negative for the stock market, for the economy. So now we see that all the last months, all the last period, it's not strong enough for the manufacturing companies. Another interesting parameter here is the service PMI. By the way, the service PMI in the service sector is also less than 50. Let's check it dynamics. So here it looks actually the same. Let's move to the fifth year data. Yeah, here since 2021 we have a sharp decreasement. So now I'm not sure that the US economy feeling itself very strong, and so has a nice and bright future. Let's move to the consumer expectations, the consumer confidence. We have here this data. We can see that here it maybe start to see increasement here. The last data is from January 2023, but if we'll check the last 10 years, we can see that since the pandemic lows, the coronavirus, here we have a nice increasement of the consumer expectations, consumers data. So it's not the demand is not so strong. By the way, here we can see the personal spending. Here last quarters, it's negative territory. That it means that that people just prefer to save rather than to spend money. And let's have a look on the labor market. Here the first one is the unemployment rate. Now in the US this parameter is 3.4, so quite low unemployment rate. If we'll check in the 10-year horizon, we can see that when the coronavirus it jumped to 14. So now it's still very lower than 4%. So now it's okay, but generally we can see sometimes it was 8%, 6%. Now it's very low. The unemployment rate in the US inched lower to 3.4 last month, the lowest level since May 1969, and below market expectation of 3.6, as the number of employment people declined by 28,000 to 5.6 million, and the number of employed increased. So generally here I think that the unemployment rate now is very low, and it can be one of the problems for the Fed, for the US economy, because here a lot of workers now in the economy. And let's check the wages. So here we can find the wages, the salaries. We can see increasing. The salaries are increasing in this historically still only in one direction. And the last figure is 2025. So look, what I think here, that maybe it can be one of the targets for the Fed. What they are trying to do now. Let's move to the inflation rate. No, the 1 minute. I will find the interest here. Yeah, we can see that last now the Federal Reserve raised the target range the Fed fund rate to 4.75, and now it's here. So it's very sharp increasing. Of course, because of the inflation, the Fed combating the inflation, the high inflation in the US. But also, I think that one of their targets are the wages. The high expenses for the companies like Google, Apple, Amazon. We see the last quarter there are a lot of layoffs in the IT sector, in the a lot of companies, in the US companies. So what my opinion, what the Fed is trying to do now. So I'm thinking they try and cause a recession, because look, so sharp interest rates. It was about 0, now it's more closely to 5. By the way, we can here find the projections for the Fed for the interest rate. Yeah, now it's in the first quarter going to be 5.25, and then till the end of this year it will be the Fed won't decrease their interest rates. So and the inflation rates now it's 6.5, and it will start to decrease, and the end of the year the expectations that we will find the inflation rate of 2%, so it's gonna be very low. But here what I'm trying to tell you, so the main targets for this sharp interest rate increasing by the Fed. So first, of course, the inflation. We can check, give me a minute. Here is the inflation. Yes, the data for the inflation in the peak. The highest lower was then 9%. Now the last data is 6.5. But now, if now the Fed will start to decrease the interest rate, so it may cause another boom in the inflation. So maybe it tries to hold the high interest rate about 5, maybe 5.2% till the end of this year. So the first target is the inflation, and then and the second, I think it's the labor market, because I told you that the wages are rising. It's of course it's expenses for all the companies in the financing reporting. So the what I'm trying to say, that because of the high inflation, the wages also rose very significant in the last years. But we saw the consumer spending are not so confident. Here we see that the consumer confidence and expectations are not so strong. It's 64, but then 60, 55. So it's not so impressive. And here the manufacturing PMI. It's below 50. It's gonna be below 50 till the end of this year. So that's why I think that in the future quarters, the first of all, the interest rate will continue to stay high. I think 5% interest rate is quite high. The inflation is gonna come down most probably. And here we can see that the unemployment rate will start to bounce. Now it's 3.4, but till the end of this year it's gonna be more than 4. By the way, here the GDP growth rate, technically we already saw a recession last year. If we have 2 quarters of the increasing GDP, so it means recession. So we saw it last year. So technically the recession already happened a few quarters ago. And of course, regarding the stock market, if we will see the interest rate so high, it means 5%, that I'm not expecting the stock market, the equity market, to see a huge growth in this year. Now, from the beginning of the year, the performance of the US indexes is quite strong. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq showing nice growth. The S&P is up more than 7%, and Nasdaq up about 14% since the beginning of the year. but if the Fed will continue to hold its interest rates so high, I'm not sure that the stock market will gain from it. And of course, the problem with the inflation is gonna be solved by itself. It won't be a problem, and the most probably we will see boom in the inflation rate, maybe spike in the unemployment rate grow. So it's my opinion about the US economy, about the outlook for this year. I hope it was useful for you. So if you like this video, press the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and of course, see you on the next time. Bye.